It's always good to hear you laughing, Alena.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Same
I have,
here.
hi everybody. Raphael here with Alena Chapman. And Alena, I'm really glad to have you here today because I always feel comfortable with you. We've become good friends
We have,
and
yeah,
no surprises. I know
no
the suspect.
surprises.
And
Oh,
oh man, yeah, always amazed, never surprised. But we
exactly.
also, for this particular topic, which is spirit guides, we have a
Yeah,
lot of experiences. Both of us are very unusual and unique in that area. And
we
it's
are.
so good for me to connect with somebody who makes me feel like I'm not alone, helps me feel like I'm
Right,
not
right.
alone on this
No,
dense,
we don't want anyone to feel alone. It's not
yeah,
fun, you
on
know?
this
I'm gonna get
dense
that
planet
house.
on the outskirts of the universe.
I know, I know. It
So
guides, I don't know what people do without them. You know what I mean? I love my guides. I love well, number one, they guide me. Number two, they give me so much valuable inspiration and they show me the way in the psychic world along with this world, right? So
yes,
having a guide is
I mean, they're
fantastic.
always guiding us whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
And that brings up a good question is, first of all, could you describe spirit guides? And the reason I ask the question is we use languages, and even though we may mean the same thing from our perspective, we hang labels. We might say angels, and I wrote a book, I never published it, Angels Don't Have Wings. And
Cool. I
I meant that literally only because that was my experience. The
right,
angels that I've had appear to me um, literally didn't have wings. They looked like
right,
humans. And
right.
so,
Me too.
could you describe spirit guides to me and the different types?
Yes, there are a lot of different types of spirit guides. There are the number one, you have a guide with you that has decided it will spend its life with you. It's the primary guide. It will not leave you.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, and mine's Joan, and she's always with me. And she is always, oh my gosh, she has helped me tremendously in the hardest parts of my life. And Joan is, she has, now this is the thing, she is here through my lifetime, okay, and is like a personal guide. But when she comes to Earth, then I am her guide. Okay, that's what's the cool thing about your personal guide. So, on that level, we must be extremely good friends for us to agree to this. And I think, and I also, like I said, she was the one who guided me through a really hard divorce. She guided me into helping to save my kids so that they had the least amount of damage from a very, very, very difficult divorce, right? Um, she guided me in my move down here to Tennessee. She guided me in how to pick the house by giving me a dream. That is my personal guide. On the psychic level, like you said, and I've told you this story when I was about seven and a half, somewhere around right there. And I was playing hooky from school, which I did often. And I was and I was playing sick. I had an angel who looked just like a person come to me and say, it's time for you to have your gift. Now, that's very young, especially for this gift. But for some reason, they felt I needed to have this gift at that time. And you have to just trust. And at seven, I did, you know? And I said, okay, a gift, I was all for it. And so she said, you will lead lost souls to the light. And I've been doing that since I was that age. Although I learned to keep my mouth shut because everyone thought I was crazy. And our house was always haunted. My mother was going crazy. She doesn't like that. She could sense it too, but she was trying to shut it off. Me, I knew they were there for the light, and I'd always help. Now, so with that wonderful psychic level, I had one time, only one time, that a lost soul just saw my light and thought it would be great to attach to my light versus going to the light, heaven, or whatever you like to call that place. I call it the light. And as I mean, quicker than I could do anything, Joan was right between me and that spirit. She would not let it come on me. She was guarding, she was right there. And then I said, "Oh, no, no, hon, the light's right there." And I directed them in. It was probably just a mistake, or there's a lot of fear. People have a lot of fear. Souls have a lot of fear. That's how they get lost. But so Joan has, yeah, I love, you all have a personal guide. And when people come to me, the very first thing is I connect them to their personal guide. It was the first thing done with me. And I think it was one of the best because it navigated my whole spiritual journey into a better place. And I've
Okay.
never felt the spiritual journey to be this horrible, dark, what do they call it? Dark shadow or dark light or whatever that term
Right.
is. Dark something of the soul, right? Isn't that?
Dark
I've
night of the
always,
soul.
yeah, yeah, thank you. And I have always found it like an unfolding of a flower. I've told you that. And that's because Joan helps me through it and my guides. Now, so there's your personal guide. We spent 5 minutes on that. I think I got that important thing across, right? So then we have other guides that come in. We have guides that come in to teach us during certain times in our lives. I have an Indian guide that comes in now. I haven't told everybody, but I'm a shamanic practitioner and a light bearer, and I help people into that light as just like I help souls, and I do it with a shamanic means because that's all I know. So with that, and I've had great success. But with that, I have an Indian guide, and he's running dough, and he has a dough, and he comes to me all the time, and he helps me with my shamanic practice. He'll help me with soul retrievals. He'll help me go to um, what I call the gray zone in shamanic belief. It is the lower level. Okay, it is a very interesting place. It can be a place that you can get lost. I usually don't like to go there except for soul retrievals or for
Okay.
soul retrievals. I try to stay, or if there's sickness, to help heal sickness, and that is all in it. It's where the souls have got lost or did not feel worthy to go to the light. That's what it is. And so they are just in this land that is very ominous. It's just a veil apart, and it is a land that is kind of upside down. If I Things kind of are upside down, very weird, and it is very it has the force of pull towards negative.
So it's kind
Okay,
of isolated in a sense.
it is. Well, all the levels are kind of their own level, and in the shamanic there's only three, but I believe there's even more. If in that three in the light, I believe that there are many universes in there, many different places, many different parts of heaven, I like to call it, you know, but it's all of the light. The lower level is one. I wouldn't want to get lost there. Everybody go to the light.
Yeah, please.
But your guides, he takes me there. I have guides that take, I have a wonderful soul that's an herbalist and everything, and she's always teaching me more about herbs. And yes, you can learn from these guides. I have a man that has shown up, a young man, and I'm not sure what he's here for yet, but he's another guide. And so, whatever I'm going through, they are the guides to help me. It's wonderful. Now, they will come and go. Once I learn everything from running dough that I need, another one might come in and it might go. So, those are movable, and they're here just to teach you, not to mention some of the hierarchy of the world. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Mhm.
And then there are you have animals. Guys, everything is spirit, as above, so below, right?
Mm.
Everything is spirit. All these trees behind me, I come out every day. I say good morning or good night and how are you? They will respond a lot of times to me by, I don't know, just you'll just know when they're responding to you and it's not just the wind.
Mm.
And when that happens, you know they have a message for you. That's another. Those are guides. Everything's spirit. Spirit is always trying to get hold of you and to help you if you want the help. We ask for help, we pray, but then we think it's all going to come, just this, just appear. And
And we're
it's
not being present.
yeah, we're not being present, but more than that, we don't think it's going to come any other way. It reminds me of that old story, like what about the person in the flood who says, "I'm sitting on top of the roof." Have you ever heard this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
and
didn't
it's
you send?
help me, help me,
Where
help
were
me,
you?
and yeah, and then like a big like a canoe comes by, and they say, "Oh no, no, I'm all taken care of. God's
And
gonna
a
save
helicopter
a
and cruise
helicopter." Everything
boat.
comes by,
No,
and they keep
God's
turning
coming.
it down. Yeah. Well, your signals, everything, the guidance will come to you, but it can be in what someone says. It can be when you're sitting under that tree and you ask, I'm strapped for creative ideas, and you just
So,
sit under that tree and the tree gives it to you. That spirit, the universe itself guiding you. You know, the dreams you have that lead you into certain careers or certain places or certain opportunities that come in, those are spiritual guides that are
and
helping you.
so it's important to let go of expectations and not be attached to the outcome because
Oh my
it's not
God,
your
of
decision.
course.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. By the way, nothing ever, if you really want to be guided, you understand that from
Hmm.
block A. You are never going to know how it's going to come about, but it will always come out better than you ever thought.
Right. This or something better. Let go of the
Always.
outcome. But most
Always.
people
We
don't
think
know that.
too small.
Hmm.
Spirit sees in a very big way. But speaking of that, there are a lot of spirit guides that are animals.
Hmm.
Yes, folks. Yes, I
I've
would
got
hope you didn't
mine.
know that. Spirits have, so animals have souls.
Hmm.
Yes. And so those souls are spirit guides a lot of times. They stay up there and be a spirit guide. And I have mine, and I have several right now. I do have a Natura, which is a Black Panther that has been with me many times. And Natura is close to now, say, I don't know how long Natura is staying, but always Natura helps me with the challenges. He is a Black Panther and timing and stealth. Okay. I have a bear. I got so simple with my names because they nothing really has a name. We always like to think, oh
Hmm.
yes, we're
Hmm.
talking too,
Hmm.
but really it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, they don't. It's what you will accept. That's why my guide is Joan and not Haikapuka Ducka something. You know.
And I was told the name when my personal guide, who's been with me my whole life and has literally saved my life, um, I was told that his name is Retoin, but I was told it something's lost in the translation. He told me it's not quite that.
Oh well, I have a bear. I told the bear I'd like to call him Cuddle because it's so fun to cuddle with a bear. But that is for strength and for resilience. Okay. I have a
Resilient.
hawk. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. It's an eagle now. I used to have a hawk. Eagle is for goals and going forward. And it is always helping to bring opportunities to me. And then I'm forgetting one. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Oh, yeah. I've been bringing a snake has been coming in. And the snake is for health and well being. And I was going through something with my health, so it was very important to have that snake. The everything, how do they guide you? Well, for instance, let's take the snake. The snake was there. Um, Miraculous things. Number one, it would lead me to health, herbs, and things that would help me. Everything. I didn't even have to look stuff up because the snake was telling me exactly what I needed to eat. right? To help heal my body. And you can see me with my mint and strawberry water, right? All these things are part of what they tell us, and that mint is very good for you. And then I had and then one time the snake just went right through me or my spirit and just took out whatever it was that was making me sick. That's how I got rid of a flu. And anyway, so with that, that's how they help you. I mean, it's not small bananas. My guides, and then so those are the animal guides. Now they will
Okay.
come and go. I just had Sheba, a female lion, who I just love, 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 and she has decided she is not needed here, but she will come back when she is. And a lot of times you'll see with a animal guide that it will be represented on this plane as above, so below. There will be a cat that maybe looks like or acts like Sheba, my lion. When Natura was with me, I had Thomas, a black cat, who came to me, which I found very interesting. Oh, I got a wolf. I forgot about that. I have a wolf. Sorry. Anyway, so these are the animals that are helping me on my shamanic practices. Okay. But they are, yeah, a lot of times you will see them in this world
Mhm.
in some way. Somehow you will just know. It's very interesting. And it shows you we are only a veil away. We are only a veil away.
Mhm.
So now let's talk about what people are more accustomed to. The guides, the angels, the archangels, okay? Guides, yes.
And
Okay.
tell us why they're accustomed to them. And because
Well,
that's
we're
another big
accustomed to,
question.
yeah, you're going to open up to them. If I open a class that says guides and spirit, and I open another class that says angels, I'll get everybody going to angels.
Right.
Yeah, angels are uh, everything is one. You don't understand. It's not like one has more knowledge than the other.
Right.
Now, is there power? I don't know. We tend to give the power. Maybe I know everybody likes Archangel for Michael for protection. I do too. Why? Because he was the first one to show up when I started wanting my psychic things, and I was very surprised he showed up. I I was asking for whoever needed to come, and he stepped up because I was starting to do things psychically in my life. And and I was doing it for another client. It was the very first thing I had ever done of banishing a demon or actually a curse from her family. And I gave it to other shamans in the area and they declined. That wasn't good. And I thought, well, I asked my guide Joan and I said, "Can I do this?" And because nobody else will. And she said, "Yes, of course you can." I said, "I can." Okay. I said, "Who do I need to come in?" And then that was Archangel Michael came in. So you have the grand archangels, Raphael, Oriel,
Hmm.
and they're all there. They will come in for healing. They will all protect you. They will all heal you. They will all give you a voice.
If they
Um,
decide to, if
if they
they
just,
know
it's like
best
any
what's
guy.
good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, people
You,
ask me, and my
yeah.
life was saved when I fell off a cliff when I was 18 years old. I got
That's right.
pushed back. I'm pretty sure it was Ray Toyn. People ask me, well, why didn't they show up when I was abused? Why didn't they show up? Well, because life is full of lessons. And that's another label.
Yeah.
It's their life is full of learning opportunities,
Yes.
growth opportunities. And
Oh,
so
yeah. Over here.
it's
Over
their
here.
it's their choice whether to all I'm saying is they know better than us,
Right.
but they've
They
told
will.
me that they have not abandoned me.
Right.
I think they have, and he told me I have not abandoned you. We're always here, but
Yeah.
I'm
They
on,
are.
we're on our own journey.
And it's not that they take away, because they can't take away the
Hmm.
learning experience. That's why you're here. You
Hmm.
signed up for it, actually,
Right?
because you need to evolve the soul.
Yes.
But they can make it um, easier, especially if you're learning the higher lesson even earlier. That's what I learned in my divorce. It was when it was so hard. I um, I finally got to the point after it was a long story, but I got to the point where I could just let it go. I was fighting for the kids. Our stuff was done. I fought so hard for the kids for so many years, and when finally I just had to let it go in my mind. And I loved the feeling of letting it go because it was hard, it was strenuous, right? And I'll tell you, when I decided to let it go and I found out I couldn't, it was too far, too far. Everybody was already judging it. So, meaning it was before the judges. So I had to say to myself, okay, how do I keep this? And I thought, it's a no-brainer. Just make it the best for everyone. Have it turn out so that everyone benefits. And that's what I did. I mean, you got to believe it. And I had reached the highest lesson, to not always fight for just me, but for everyone to be happy or at least pleased.
Beautiful.
And when and guess what? See, it doesn't always, you never ever can say, okay, it's got to happen this way, because it doesn't. They know better than you.
Right.
So I lost. I couldn't believe I lost. This was for the kids, and I lost. And it went to the Supreme Court of that state. And I said, and I looked at I said to the universe, I said to my guides, the universe, everything, I said, okay, that must have been for the best. All right. And then all of a sudden I get a call from the other side, which the patriarch of the other side, and they said, hey, Elena, we know what you are fighting for. And the kids will be well provided and we will take care of them. Do you see how that worked? That's big.
Yeah.
If you can learn that, then you can apply it to your
Potentially.
life, right?
Yeah.
So because I wanted the best for all, if I had won, it would have caused anxiety and, well, no, pure hate on the other side. They would have been very angry. You know, it's all ego, right?
Yeah.
We
Coming from a
lost. How could we
place of
lose?
pride and
Yeah,
fear. Yeah.
pride and ego
Mhm.
and also money. Oh my God, money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so they're gonna be very angry and harbor that anger, and they are going to attack more, right?
Right.
But if I lose, it fed their ego. They didn't have to give out the money. They're happy as anything. And because I had been doing this a lot all the way through, you know, I was being nice. I was talking to them like civil people at any social event. I was not harboring the anger anymore because it was going to be the benefit of all, right? So when he called me that day, he kind of all of a sudden was in a place where he thought, well, she does have a good reason for doing this. I'm going to give her a call and tell her it's going to be okay.
Okay.
See, it has to go the way the universe says,
And
because
we're
bigger
talking
picture.
about a transcending into acceptance here, accepting that, letting
Yes.
go of the need for control, knowing that the universe knows better for us, not being attached to the outcome. So, I mean, that's huge. And I'd like to,
It's humongous.
yeah, it is.
So
It's
humongous.
daily.
You can use it on any level. And your guides will help you. I wanted to open a store in Tennessee, right? There's a beautiful spiritual community here. I'm in Chattanooga. And I just thought to myself, there should be a home for them. There should be a home for all of them, right? So I wanted to open a store. Well, the prices are outrageous for rent.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, I just can't. I can't fathom. This is like a gamble. I'm not sure this venture is going to work, right? And do I really want to lose 30,000 the first year, right? That's a lot of money, right? That's how much they want for rent. You know, that's a lot of money, guys.
Mhm.
So I said, oh. And so I went to my guides This is when you go to your guides. And I talked to Joan, and actually, yep, the archangels all came in. Plus, guys, it's not just our archangels, okay? You've also got Freya. You've got wonderful like archangels, guides, gods, whatever that come in. The more your mind can open up, the more you will grow. I mean, grow in that world, and you will see how many are really there to help you for every little thing.
So
But
can I ask
yeah,
you another question
yeah,
about spirit guides that people have asked me? And
sure,
this is kind of pervasive because I've had people contact me recently that I've met in the past, and they want to share their angel guides and meeting with angels. And I feel a lot of them are very vague and rather they're operating off their perceptions. And my question is based on I'm glad that you brought up different that there are different guides because I've met a number and I've been confused about who they are. Now, for example, this woman here who has floated over me in my kitchen, and that's
yes,
not her face. I had this painted by a friend in Poland, but
right,
she was just like
beautiful,
that. And it's really funny. A couple of days ago, getting ready for this meeting, I asked, "Why did I see this?" And who is it? I asked, "Who is this?" And something happened. I started looking under Angel of Love, and I couldn't believe it. I found a picture that about 12 years ago I had painted off something I found on the internet called Jophiel, Angel of Love, Beauty, and
love,
Art Creation, Jophiel. And it was
yeah,
the exact picture that I had painted from something I saw on the internet. It was her. And I was really surprised. I'm like, okay. And this reinforces what you just said that
and did
wait
she
for
come
the
when you
answer.
were did she come when you were going through a hard time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
She
that's why.
came
Yeah.
when Anna had passed.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, the love.
I never felt
Oh,
so alone in my life. And and I
so
thought about um, I actually thought about whether I could have the courage to get into the hot bathtub. And I don't take hot baths, I take cold showers and and cut my wrist because
yeah,
I wanted to let go.
yeah, yeah,
It's funny when I got into the bathtub, I realized I was not alone, that all the material around me came from the earth and all the spirits was there. And I wasn't going to do it. I just wanted to know if I could. I
yeah,
wanted to know if it was okay. And I
yeah.
don't think I ever would, but it
No,
doesn't really matter. But my point is, I've had other women appear to me and read me things like the woman who said, "It's time for you to rewrite your life," the name of this podcast,
right?
she was somebody different. I'm told by, it's funny, I'm told different names by different psychic friends, but but two of them who I've only allowed to channel me, they were very similar. It was Uthra or Thera, and she's on the Senate in a on that planet people are always talking about.
Right.
Um, but anyway, she's appeared a number of times, but she's very almost very administrative with me. She just has messages for me. And then there's
That's
Ray Toyne. Ray Toyne I've seen since I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, I was climbing on a rock when I first saw him. And he's this very muscular, and you've told me where he's probably Archangel Michael, and different people have attached different,
yeah,
figures and names, but I've seen him throughout my life. I've seen him as one would view a human. He's
yeah,
very strong, very big and
yeah,
very
yeah,
strong. And he's appeared in the sky. I think any Christian in the world would, if they saw it for the seconds that I saw it, would swear that was, Jesus, because he has a beard and kind of long hair.
yeah.
But anyway, there were different guides, and I'm glad you've helped clear that up for me. But
And it's funny how yeah. Oh, go to I'm
my
sorry, go
question
ahead.
is this: why do people have to? And I kind of know that I have my answer to this. Why do people have to pay people like me and you to go into their homes and release spirits who don't know that they're dead
Yeah,
or don't know whether they should leave? There's
because we
that
don't
quote about
believe.
let the dead bury the dead. And my answer is there must be a reason why they hang on. Could
Oh,
you
the souls
yeah,
that
the
die.
lost souls,
Why are they still
people
around?
who pass and
Many
stay.
reasons. Many reasons. I mean, I just cleared
Okay.
a house with a guy. Oh my gosh, this is funny. I was called. Somebody had bought a house. My clients, who's a real estate agent, said, "Hey, this house was sold, and the dog won't go upstairs, and the bedroom feels really, really heavy, and they were getting worried because it was one of the heaviest energies I've ever felt. It was
Mhm,
a very just so heavy. I mean, oh
mhm.
my God, this person had the weight of the world, and it was an older gentleman. And so I said, okay, I'll check it out. And I went and I talked to him. He took a long time. He just didn't think he was worthy, not feeling worthy, feeling scared that they're going to be judged in the light, right?
Right,
Um, and you're not. It's
right.
unconditional
Thank
love,
you.
folks. Unconditional love means no Peter at the gate, right?
Yes.
It's not, you will find love, 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 and peace and joy and an incredible bliss that washes over you.
Judgment is a human thing.
Oh yeah. No, oh no, there's no judge. There doesn't need to be judgment.
Mhm.
And and then what's the other reason that they don't go? Yeah, they just don't want to.
Right.
Okay. There are some that just don't want to. I'll have some come and I'll always tell them to go. But this guy, what was so funny about this story is I kept going back because he was being very he didn't want to go at first.
Mhm.
And I said, that's fine, but it's you're causing them a lot of grief. And I said, let's talk a little. Anyway, every time I came back, he'd say, oh, Miss Busybody's here again.
Go home.
Yeah, he was so, oh my God. But I got to know him. He was a really cool man. He felt really heavy. And really what got him to go was that he got to see his wife again because she was in the light.
Wow.
And so then he went. But oh my gosh. Yeah. And even
I
from the
don't
light,
have
I
the
checked.
interaction that you do. I just
Oh,
invite them, like I was taught by Ilchi, to go to the light. It's okay to let go of earth. It's okay to let
yes.
go of life. It's
Yeah.
okay to go to the light. That's why I was taught. It's that
Yeah.
simple,
Yeah.
paranormal people, but I don't have the extreme interaction that you do, and I'm so grateful
Oh,
for you.
I I don't know why. I just seem to. I not all the time. Some of them are very cut dry and they don't want, but most of the time they're really here. It's they know it's okay, but they're still thinking they're going to be judged. And that's the one thing that they need to understand they are not. And that seems to be the biggest. And having a loved one that to meet them is really helpful. And
Okay,
that seems to happen for me.
I have another question for you. I mean, this is more of a statement, and I would definitely like your views on it and your observation. Is
Okay.
when I go into a house, and I was one of the most prominent ones I noticed are people who have been told by the church that they are evil spirits, that the ghosts, which is a label,
No,
in their
ghosts are not.
house are evil spirits. And so I go there and I talk to them and I tell you, okay, we're going to wait till 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to show you how to build the energy in your body, activate your pineal. We're going to invite them to us and we're going to tell, and this is what we're going to do. We're
Yeah.
going to invite them to go to the light and tell them it's okay. But I want to tell you that that's a lie you've been told. There's no such thing as evil spirits. Evil has been attached to judgments made by judgmental creatures called humans. And
Yeah.
so they are just spirits. Let's not judge them.
Now
And
there
when I
are dark
say,
spirits, but
I'm
you don't
sorry,
get them very often. There are dark spirits,
but there's
but they
definitely
are
dark spirits, dark
but
energy, but
very
not
dark energy.
evil.
But
There's a reason why they are the way they are.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so this is my point.
Most ghosts are not.
When I tell them that even though they're seeing people do these spirits do things that scare them, like telling them to worship them or hoovering over their dog with the stick, I tell them they're a little lost. They're in the dark because they're on their own journey. However, they're not evil. And
Yeah,
so
not.
when I tell them that, and here's my point, when their belief changes, and I'm sure you've experienced this, their perception changes. Now, what they see when the spirits show is different. They're a
Yeah.
totally different perception.
The thing is, yeah, they'd love you to think before anyone goes to the light, okay? Before you go to the light, you are you. You don't have all that happens when you're in the light is you celebrate that love, and the most important thing, you gain the highest understanding of
Mm-hmm.
everything. That's everything. That's where
Your
you
heart
assess your
opens.
life. That's where you see everything, and you see it with such love and understanding. It's just a totally different thing that we don't even comprehend most of the time here. And so, but we've been kind of poisoned in our mind to think that a all if a ghost is in your house, it's a terrible thing. My mom thought that too. But they are who they were on this side is who they are on the other side. Okay? It's just like talking to Joe Schmo down at the store, right? They are
When
the
you
same.
say this side and the other side, could you define that?
Oh, sure. I think everybody knows. All right, so living on this reality right here. And when we pass and our soul leaves the body, and we have 2 days, 2 to 3 days. If you look at I always thought you had two because I didn't get much after that. But the Tibetan monks always say there's three, so it doesn't matter. They have a little bit of time to settle up their affairs. That's when your wonderful grandmother or something will come and flash the lights and let you know she's okay.
Right.
That's because she's settling things up.
Okay,
She's letting
so
everybody know she's
Anna
leaving.
appeared to me the next morning after she passed, and she showed me the dark and the light to show
Yeah.
me there's always a balance in life and not to judge it.
See,
Yeah,
it's
right,
perfect.
right here in this room.
Yeah. Oh, how
Okay,
cool. Yeah. So, but then they go into the light. They get called. They hear their name. And if they follow, then they are in an incredible place, right? Of growth. And well, we won't, that's another show. There's a lot that happens there. But if they don't go, then they end up in that gray zone that I call it.
right. Okay,
That's,
that
but they
explains it.
are who
Yeah,
they are. And they will remember. Um, Sometimes if they stay there too long, they get consumed by, especially if they didn't go because of guilt and shame. They didn't go to the light because of
mhm.
guilt or shame. That will start to consume them, which is not good. But other than that, a lot of them, and so yeah, they'll make noises in your house. Yes, they'll play with your dog.
And they might touch you, and you could feel it if
Yeah,
you're open.
they'll
They might
touch.
hit you. They
Yeah,
might knock something over. Yeah,
just know, and you will know whether it's something horrid but normally it's just, I mean, 97, 98% of the time, it is just a ghost who has not gone to the light, a soul
and
that is saying,
do you
where
see
am I?
why I brought this up? The huge point here about
Yeah,
perceptions,
yeah,
because what I would like to tell people is that, and I'm sure you do, because there's so much to talk about, so much to cover, and we've only got so much time. But
right.
is that people's perceptions do change with belief? Has that been your experience?
Yes, yes.
And doesn't that point
Belief is
to the
every
fact,
imagination, opening the
right?
imagination,
And doesn't
but
that point
that's
to the
opened by the
fact that beliefs actually hold us back from being open, from being present, from actually having a clear perception,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, we are all taught. I don't know why we are taught from the very we're always looking outside ourselves
Hmm.
for answers. Everybody is
Right.
an expert. Oh God, isn't that a mistake?
Outside
And
ourselves.
yeah, outside of ourselves.
Right.
And we use all these people as guides who have no higher understanding, who have no overseeing of anything, but yet we call them experts when really it's our divine feminine part of the soul that connects to divinity once we learn, and there are the true guides, right? And yet, and the new ideas and the new worlds that can be built and the new ways of being can be come into play, where you have can have calm and peace because it's part of you. You are part of it,
If
right?
you let go of your limiting perspectives,
Well, if
your
you
vision
yeah.
broadens,
Well, you
opens.
have to even connect, really. It takes a while. I've had some clients where it's taken them a little while
Oh, sure.
but that's okay. I mean,
They're
everybody
where
has
they're
their own
at.
spiritual growth,
Hmm.
but they do have a cap on how much they can see,
Right.
and it is very interesting. And if you think everything on the psychic level only happens on the psychic level, and you're saying, well, that's just a waste of time, you're very silly because not that I shouldn't call you silly. Well, that belief is a little silly.
It
Because,
is. It's a belief that the outer world controls the inner world, which is just opposite. And yes, that is
no, yeah,
silly, but it's popular.
it just doesn't. You have to understand with your imagination, you're not just inside yourself.
Hmm.
You are in the light
Right. You are
and you
creator.
are in that expansive place.
Hmm.
And in number one, to deal with, I see all this paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Are they out of their minds? Number one,
Yes.
they're
Well,
scaring
they're
me.
very low consciousness. I deal locally. I've got a lot of criticism from the MUFON groups. And because I tell them to stop picking on the UFO abductees, witnesses,
Oh God, stop.
they know they're not open. You call them mundane. I love that. They're very
Yeah,
mundane consciousness.
it
And I tell
is.
the paranormal people, stop wasting your time. Just go help. I can show you how to help them pass the spirits, but
And lots of
yeah,
times they don't want to. A lot of times
not at all.
they
They
want to
never
show
do.
other people the ghosts. It's more an ego trip than it is
Yes,
anything else.
yes,
And it's silly and it shows how we are so disconnected
yes, totally.
and we don't understand. But when we do understand, that's when learning can take place,
Right.
you
When we
know?
raise our consciousness, because what we're talking about basically is people who are at 200 and below 200 level of consciousness, as David Hawkins would put
Or
it.
even,
They're
well,
very low
200,
consciousness.
but they're even in three sometimes. They're not, I know a lot of people who are starting, they're starting.
Yeah.
They seem to get stuck in when we start getting into this stuff, I'm not, it's definitely 5D. Is it lower? Yes, it can be. Four,
Fourth
three, you're
dimensional
just starting.
creatures, for
It
example.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's we got to get over the thing that we are the top living organism.
Yes, my
Got to
farrier
get over.
told me yesterday on one of her rescue, very disabled, beautiful mare that we've been trying to help. My farrier told me that they have to have a reason to live, and we're going to try to get them to where we can ride her so she has a reason a purpose to serve. I go, well, maybe she just wants to be a horse, Joe. And he goes, well, actually, horses are service animals. I go, no, I don't think God's source
We
universe sees
define them as
that.
service animals. They
Exactly.
ran
You have
very free.
dominion over them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, see,
I mean, that's
see,
an
and that
example of
lack of
what you said.
understanding
Mhm.
hurts horses in general, right? I mean, we think everything is of service to us. It's nothing is in service
It's a
to
lower
us.
consciousness, but it's okay. They're at
And
where
we've been
they're at.
taught that
They're
too,
at
that
their
we are the
journey.
beginning.
I'm not judging
Yeah.
them.
And
They
but
don't
boy,
have that
wouldn't it be
awareness.
great to understand, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you understand that animals are not of service, then you form a new relationship with animals.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was calling me, oh God, my neighbor. She calls me the dog whisperer because every dog we come up to comes up to me.
Yeah.
But animals do anyway. So why wouldn't you want to have an experience where you just don't have the fear and that things aren't supposed to serve you, but you get the best out of them. You see their personalities. You see, you really have fun with
You
them.
see their
You
pain. You see why they're
you can
angry at most
understand their
people.
pain, and
You
you
know,
can
I go up
help.
to dogs and I give them a kiss on, oh, you're so cute. I give them a kiss on the nose, and their owner goes, oh my God. She goes, he usually doesn't like people in his face. And then the dog will turn and start barking at them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's because
yeah,
animals can smell your pheromones, they can
yeah.
smell your fear.
They know, and the more
And
calm
so,
you
yeah,
are, the more everything will open up to you. The more at peace you are,
right.
everything will start. When I'm out in nature, I mean, I've got Snow White stories all over the place where animals just come up to me and birds lead me
I
places.
love
And
your podcast where you share that you just did, and you're sharing your experiences.
yeah.
Because
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
I
do
have
this.
Mystical
Yeah,
Muse, guys. It's called Mystical Muse, and it's out there. It's
yeah.
new, and yeah, Raphael's on it.
Well,
And
there's so many lessons in your experiences, and I love that you share them. And that's why I share my experiences because
yeah.
there's lessons in them.
Yeah, they are. There's incredible lessons, and when you see it, it hopes for better. I think I think it's important that we start to open our minds and start. And if you are one that has an
I think it's
imagination
critical for the
that's a
survival of
little
our race.
limited, which is
Uh-huh.
a big thing in our culture right now, um,
Right.
start to play. I mean, really start to play.
With
And I
your
mean, play with
imagination.
the mind. Yeah, like I used to do this with my boys, and I do it with myself now too. When I'm driving and I see like something really cool, like perfect, it reeks it. When there's like a fog and you're going by a graveyard, I would always say to I have three boys. I'd say when they were younger, I'd say, "Oh my gosh, story time! Let's start it." And we'd all do a bit of a story, right? I said, "This is reeking, guys. We got to do it." When they were teenagers, they'd be a little less, but then they started enjoying it because they'd get all far out with it. And I'd let it go. It's their imagination. The other thing I would do, and not it's not judgment, because it's really not. It when I'm sitting in an airport or something or a park and people are walking by, I will always make up stories in my mind. What
Right.
I'm doing is I'm searching, I am just making up a whole
Sure.
story about something, and that's imagination. If I'm given a job, like one time I was told I had to start a choir. I used to do music.
Hmm.
And I was told I had to start a choir, and I hadn't done it on a collegiate level. And I said, well, I sat down under a tree and I said, okay, so why are these girls going to want to come to me? And my imagination started going, right? And I said, oh, because I'm not a pianist, and because most pianists are choir conductors. I said, I could show them how to really use the voice in really fun ways. And so then I said, so what are you going to do? And I started talking more. All my imagination is just starting to cook, and I'm just creating like crazy. Make up scenarios. What's it like to live on the moon? And start making that up. You really, you got to understand the imagination is the key. It is the key to what some call the God mind, the God consciousness, the Florence Henderson, oh
It's
wait,
very
Florence,
powerful, and people don't understand
yeah,
that. Yes.
it is
Perfect.
incredible because it will break through the barrier. It will go through the portal. And then it will allow you to say, "Oh my gosh, I believe," right? And when you believe, then more can come to you. And before you know it, you're doing incredible things that are so, um, what you would think, is that really happening? Or
And you're talking
like I
about
did with
believing
that
in
wonderful man
yourself,
and got him into
right?
the light.
You're
Huh?
talking about believing in yourself, right? That you can do this, that you can be powerful, you can open.
That comes with the imagination too.
Mhm.
It does. It comes together. It, it's all
No, I
you
mean, when you
have to
say
feel
you
worthy to
believe,
even come up with the stories. You do know that. Believe in what you see. Like
Right.
Mary Magdalene asked Jesu, you know, I see you, Master, I see you in my visions. Is it true? And he said, believe what you see,
Right.
because it is just your imagination is the door. It is the door. Without it, and that's why they crack down on imagination,
Yes.
really,
Oh,
because if you
absolutely.
are getting all that guidance from your
That's why
heart.
these are so prominent because I call them the parasitical elite, want to take away your imagination. They want to take away your power.
Somebody
So,
does, yeah. Well, it's harder to control people who have the
yes.
knowledge to
Can I
um
can I ask you another question? Is that a good point?
yeah, sure.
What advice do you have, especially I would like to say to women? I have a very good friend who I worked with Peter Sage's group, who
Yeah.
a childhood friend of hers daughter has disappeared, and
Oh,
she had four children that she would never leave, and she's been gone for about 3 weeks now, and they're all just devastated, heartbroken, the children, the mother. And I would like to say to all those women that when I go out to um, a women's shelter and I give a speech for some of the local groups about trusting your senses, I would like to I tell them a story. I'm over south of Sedona, and very powerful places attract very powerful people of all kinds of dark and light energies. And the newspapers won't tell you that there's a serial killer or rapist in town because they don't want to hurt tourism, but it's
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I tell women that you need to trust your instinct. Hello, what didn't you know about this guy that the rest of us saw in the first 5 seconds we met him?
Right,
Right.
right.
And so I tell this story about I'm in this store, I think it was a Bash's in Cottonwood or somewhere, Arizona, and this guy walks by me and whoa, I saw him hurting people. And
Yeah,
he had a very strong energy, and so he sensed me and he started going away. And this guy was terrifying. And so, I called 911 and I followed him. And, I was taken to the station where they said, how do you know this guy? You're lying. We want to know how you know him. We've been looking for him. And, finally, my friend, FBI, who's now a good friend of mine, said, we know who you are. We know how to find you. Now, being at ABC, I've seen this a lot. I've seen
funny.
things that most people have no idea about.
No.
However, all I'm saying is, what do you have to say to women who don't know how to trust their instinct, who don't know how to trust their intuition, that use that imagination open to the energy and help protect yourself? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, and it's so funny because without your intuition, you're actually more scared than you need to be.
I know I am.
Give it that way. Because if you
You froze up, Alena.
um
You
our
froze up
intuition
there.
has been pushed down with everything else. But you got to keep your eyes like I mean I do it too. When I'm out in a parking garage at night, you're darn right I keep my eyes moving. And I'm very careful in a lot of ways. Women are normally. Do you have to have fear? No, you just have to be careful and prepared. But the intuition should also, and you got to listen to it.
Mhm.
And when you see a red flag, it's a red flag. I mean, it's a red flag.
Trust
Back
that.
up, assess it, go away from it. But the you can feel, you know, you can feel. And we got to go past where we think we need someone in our life
Right.
because that's going to open the door
That's
into
big. Yeah.
every tom fool dangerous guy in the world. And it's funny, when you think you need a guy in your life, it creates a lack in you. This is big.
Yes, it is.
Lack in you actually sends up a big giant beam of lack,
Yes.
is insecurity, which then every freaking predator from narcissist to somebody who's really dangerous will see that beacon.
And an empty wallet.
Yeah,
That's where lack
or
will
your
get
life,
you.
or your life.
Right. Thank you.
You know, it's you. You are the one. Intuition's one thing, self-worth is a whole nother thing. And but if for your intuition, you can start, you know where you feel when things are funny.
Right.
You know when you walk into a room and it doesn't feel right. Well, then don't keep walking into the room. That's following your intuition right there.
And I'd like to point out that if you're at a problem where you're really questioning your intuition, that's the red flag.
Yes. Yeah. Why question it? It's a deeper inner knowing. It's actually, folks, you really want to know. It's your soul saying, hey, this isn't where I want to be. Why
Right.
do you think? And people don't listen. And that's, guess what? That's why I do soul retrievals.
We are in
Because
the
if you don't
jungle.
listen to
Yeah.
your soul enough, parts of it will leave. And then when that leaves, oh my gosh, you will feel the loss. You know, it can be, gosh, you can feel incomplete. You can feel you don't have the gumption you used to have. You can feel like you don't trust yourself all of a sudden. You lose that little girl in you that's creative and or a little guy in you who's adventuresome, and you know you lose that. Guess why? Because you didn't listen to things like your intuition, you didn't connect. Your spiritual life is lacking. I
So
mean, that's
your soul, are you saying that your soul will leave? And I've seen that. I saw it when I
parts
interviewed
of your
Kenneth
soul will leave.
Biante.
Not the whole soul, but parts of it, yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's what I do.
not your spirit guides totally. Not your spirit
No,
guides,
your spirit guides.
but part of your
Well,
soul will.
I've never had a spirit. Well, if a spirit guide leaves, if some of the spirit, like I said, the only one
For a
that stays
reason.
with you the whole time is the one, and I haven't heard of her leaving, so no, I think she stays. But the others, I don't know. The other as far as the soul, parts of it will go. It will go and hide in other realities, other lives you are living at the same time, right? It'll go somewhere else
Right.
because it's not,
That's a good point. Thank you.
yeah,
Because
it
a lot of
does
people
not.
disagree with that. And
Well,
that's been my
it's a
experience.
shamanic thing. I know it
Yeah.
works. I've
Mm,
seen miraculous things with it. Um, I once, there was once a woman who was a very much a doer, and then all of a sudden she lost it.
right.
Didn't know why. We did a soul retrieval, and now she's balanced again. But for some trauma, she just pushed it out. I think it was a past divorce or something. And that soul went somewhere else. And so she was really great on her feminine side, but she couldn't create anything. She could not get the motivation to do it. It was gone. And so when we did the soul retrieval and brought back that masculine little boy in there, that's what it was, the one who loved to create, when I brought him back, then she's now writing a book and everything else.
Wow. Well,
I've
I know
seen
I've
really good,
done that. I've done it to myself
yeah,
because I've let pride and significance, the lower consciousness, get in my way, and fear, pride, fear, and significance, fear
sure.
that turn into anger. So there's some lower level emotions there, and
Yes.
and desire. Those will get in the way. Now, Alena, you've met people as I have, who that saying about the windows are the eyes of the soul. You've met people I've bet who, like the soul, they're not there
Yes.
for whatever reason. They're
Yeah,
gone.
the soul will leave you. Yeah. Man, that's scary. That's the one kind of
It's the
person I don't
most
want to deal
scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life was looking into the serial killer's eyes through the bars when I was talking to him, interviewing him, and he took off his sunglasses. And it was remarkable because I've seen David Lee Roth from Van Halen take off his sunglasses, and he was telling me why the band split up. And it's
with.
like, whoa, he's got so much personality, it's just almost bowled me
Yeah.
over. But when this guy took his sunglasses off to ask me a legal question about what was going on in the prison that I was visiting, Washington State Penitentiary, to interview him, he was
Yeah.
known as the Hillside Strangler. He
Oh
took off
yeah.
his sunglasses and there was nobody there. And even with the bars, I backed up. It was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I've seen, yeah. That's somebody you just need to back away from because
Yes.
there's no soul.
And
And
that's why
I
he was
do
in a
not
cage.
stay around a person with, well, they don't want to be with me either, but they can't feel anything. I mean,
Right.
they have no higher anything. Isn't that amazing?
So notice that, ladies, recognize that. Trust your
Yeah.
intuition. We used to have a military saying that they had from Special Forces and the CIA. If
Men
there's
too.
any doubt, there's no doubt.
Yeah, yeah, and men too. I mean, there's some crazy women out there too, you
Oh
know? It's
yeah,
not all women with men. There are some very crazy women. So you got to be careful.
yeah.
You just have to, but I'm telling you, you got to get rid of the lack. Your self-worth will lead the way in that also. It's nice to listen to your intuition, but you've got to feel like you are more and that you don't need anyone.
Thank you. Thank you
You would
for bringing
like
that up.
you would like someone to share your life, or you would like to have someone who's an asset to you and you're an asset to them. It's a much different way to being, which would help so many relationships.
Yeah,
So
and
many.
Alena, when I say to women and various, and I just did this with an author in the podcast with Moira Hutchinson.
Yeah.
There was a gal there who was saying that she likes being the feminine. She likes being the homebody. She likes
That's
cooking.
okay.
She likes her man to come home. I said, that's okay. But you
That's
need to look at why you keep attracting the same person that you keep being disappointed and hurt by. It's because
right.
of that lack of
Yeah. Yeah,
not
you
loving
yeah,
yourself
what you
enough.
want in a relationship is great, but there's something in you that has something that is drawing that person in, especially if it happens over and over and over. There's a reason because they see something in you that appeals to them to treat you that way.
This this
So
this lack of self-love, perhaps, like you
it
said.
well, and it's yeah, it's knowing it's not just love. We talk about love and we can have love ourselves, and a lot of people say they do, but it's more of what do I want to say? It's more of it's
Appreciation,
taking it a step
recognition.
further, saying, I know what I want.
Right.
And I know, and I also have full confidence that I can do it alone,
Tell
right?
us that story about you in the middle of the night in Rochester.
Oh God. You want to hear that one? Okay. Oh, people, I wish I was the same with doctors as I am with men. But anyway, I actually I took my kids to a vacation in Vermont and we all met up there. We were actually spreading my mom's ashes. And then I was driving back and I ended up in Rochester. Now my oldest had gone to school in Rochester and had told me,
Hmm.
you know, do not, mom, end up downtown at night at any time.
Hmm.
Now, why he would say that to me, I don't know. It's not like I'm not a big night, I am a night owl, but I don't stand downtowns. But anyway, so I'm driving back and I stopped in Rochester, New York, because I was tired and it was a good halfway point. So I got a little hotel room. Well,
And
I've been taking these supplements, like a lot of supplements. I was trying to, I was working with someone who was telling me, oh, this is what your body needs. And I really didn't know what they were doing. Well, anyway, that night, and I had been feeling a little funny, I have to say. So that night, I started to get so freaking sick. I
you
mean,
may have been detoxing heavily.
I didn't know I was detoxing. Okay. I knew I was detoxing a little, but I didn't know what was really going on. I was trusting someone else, not listening. And so then I got very, 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 very ill. In
Oh,
fact, um, I actually got to the point where I was, my blood level was the level was going down, 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 down. I was spiraling. And I remember the next morning I called a mutual friend of yours, Erin, and I said, she goes, she didn't even recognize my voice. I said, something is wrong. I don't know, but I can't walk to my door. I can't get out of this room. And she said, call the ambulance. And so we called the ambulance and I went to the emergency room. And so then the doctor got me back. and here I am. And he said, so what is and he said, you were cleaning out every system at once and you could have died. And I didn't even realize that. So anyway, that's just part of it, just to show you where my mind is. When you get to that point, you're in la la land, right?
Right.
And when they let me go from the emergency room, I didn't even think of the hospital shuttle. I didn't, because I'm in la la land. I'm on so much. I mean, I've been through quite a lot. Plus, I'm on whatever they gave me, right? So I called an Uber because that's what I would normally do. And so I called an Uber and I ended up, I told him what hotel, and then I kind of fell asleep in the back seat because I was not well. And so then he dropped me off at the so-called hotel, but the one he dropped me off was right smack dab in the middle of Rochester, downtown Rochester, at 1 o'clock in the morning.
And it was
Is
closed.
And everything was closed, and it was not even an open hotel. It had the name, but it wasn't open. And by the time I had my wits about me, I looked at it. I thought, God, that's dark.
I
He
can't
was
believe that guy just dropped you off there. What? Very irresponsible.
People are not always with themselves. And so anyway, I saw one guy on the phone, and then I saw these two guys on bikes. And then one car came by yelling really awful stuff. I think they thought, well, what woman would be on the street corner
Hey.
in this neighborhood, right? So anyway, I'm just like, okay. And I'm watching these bikes. The guy on the phone is trying to ignore me. He doesn't want anything to do with anything. These guys on the bikes are coming closer. Every time they go around, they're coming closer and closer to me. I'm trying to get on my phone and it's not working because of the buildings. So I'm sitting there, and so I just do what I do in these, what can you do? Now most people would panic. Most people would start running. I mean, doing something. Me, I leaned against the building and I said, "Okay, God. Okay, spirits. Okay, universe. I did it again. I'm in a mess. I need help. I need you very much. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but I need to get out of this mess." And then I just
You
believed.
asked. Big point. You asked
Yeah,
for help. Yeah.
I asked. Oh, you have to ask. Nobody can
Right.
do
Thank
anything for
you.
you if you don't ask. And so I keep hearing squirrels behind me. And I said, and then by that time, the guy on the bike, on one of the bikes, came up. He was really, really, I mean, very close. Like he could reach out and touch me.
Uh-huh.
And I looked right at him and I stood very tall and I said, hello, just like that. And something came from me. I'm serious. Something came from me. He got this little smirk on his face. He wouldn't look at me. And then he nodded to his friend and he said hello to me and they left. And then after that, my phone started to work and I could call another Uber.
Hmm.
See,
Wonderful.
it comes with asking and then believing.
Right.
And you've heard this kind of story. You remember when the woman touched Jesus's robe and he said, who touched my robe? And because of your faith, you are healed, right? From the Bible. It's the same thing. Belief, belief. And that's why you have to open up your imagination.
It's very powerful. Thank you. I have an appointment in town to talk to one of my favorite people's, an attorney.
Oh
Because I was
boy.
yeah, I was in
Well, we do need to get off. I do want to say if people are interested and do want to connect, you can go to my website, alenachapman.com. I have helped thousands to connect to their divine and also to gain that worthiness and basically to ascend. And when you ascend, I mean, everything goes right. And I do have a class open. Check out my programs. They're very reasonable.
can you
Everything's by the
describe ascend?
ascend. Ascend is starting to leave this mundane place and seeing it for what it is.
So raising your
Starting to see that
frequency.
this reality, the reality you're in, you can change. You do not have to live where you are in the problems you're living with the toxic relationship. And a lot of times we see two roads, but there's actually three, and you don't even know it because you're stuck in the mundane. So a lot of things can even be fixed or not, but you can find. I have helped people through the anger, the toxicity, the unworthiness, the oh my God, everything.
That's it. I'm
Those
calling
traumas,
Alena. I gotta
those
go. I gotta
traumas.
call Alena. So
But
alenachapman.com, and your podcast
AlenaChapman.com.
is
And then my
Mystical Muse.
podcast, yeah,
How do we find that Mystical Muse?
it's on Mystical Muse is on Spotify, Audible, Google. There's five of them. So just Spotify, everybody knows, but Audible, everybody knows too.
So
Google,
type in podcast
Apple.
Mystical Muse.
Yeah,
Google
and
that.
you'll see it, and it's got this mystical lady on the cover because there's a few, but Mystical Muse has this lady, and then it's just Mystical Muse, and it's all about people spiritual. Oh, I have one out, and I got an excerpt I think coming up on YouTube. This one is not Raphael's, but he's on there too. Look for his. But Kristen Dwayne, and she is a shamanic practicer out in Los Angeles, and her story, or a hypnotist. I do a little of that too, but she is a pure hypnotist. And I'll tell you what, it's very cool to hear her story because it is very eye-opening and very dramatic.
And what was her
So
name? Christian?
Kristen DWAN, I think. You'll see her. Look on Facebook. We should have a link out there, or you look on
Okay,
YouTube. It should be coming up today.
sure.
It's a new one, an
Hmm.
excerpt. You can hear an excerpt. But anyway, if you're listening to that, you can also connect to that on my website, alenachapman.com, if you have trouble finding it. Everything's on there. And don't forget, let me lean over here. Sorry, guys. Look at those trees. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
Um, Hello Soul Book.
Hello,
And it's all
Soul.
about connecting to soul.
And we can find that on Amazon Books.
You can find it out on Amazon Books. You can find it on my website. Yeah, those are the two places.
I wonder
Okay.
if
Check
if
out the
it's
courses.
next to mine. Let's put them together and
Look
see
at
how they
that.
look on the
Yeah,
same
because look
screen.
at you got a little bit of the blue and I got a little bit of the gold down here. It's kind of
Yeah, I
cool,
love
isn't it?
those colors.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Hello,
Yeah.
Soul. I gotta
All
order
right.
that.
But anyway, I'm glad that everybody got to see this. I hope more get to see it. And I hope you guys start getting curious. And like I said, I help you connect. So let me know. Yeah.
So we
Come.
brought up some really interesting points. We talk about not coming from a sense of lack. We talked about coming from a place of appreciation and love for yourself, as well as knowing and believing in yourself and believing that you
Yes.
are powerful. We talked about asking. I remember going out one day and going into my living room after I had a very bizarre visitation, and I was looking up at the sky and said to this Uthira, this woman that appears every now and then to me, and I said, "Why do you do this? Why do you show me these things? Why do UFOs come right up to me?" That's another podcast. There's a very specific reason why that happened,
Right.
but why do you show me these things? Why do you tell me these messages? I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you expect of me. I don't know what to do with this. Why do you do this? Why, why? And she yelled at me, because you keep asking. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was
It's that
asking.
easy.
So we
Yep.
talked about asking
Yeah.
and trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. Recognize a red flag. If there's any doubt, there's no doubt. And never believe that you're alone. You're not. So always look for your spirit animals. I've got this I've got snakes that go beside me 30 feet away. And people come to my ranch. I'm surrounded by animals. We've got so many animals here, right? But I've got these wild animals, snake, a little wild cougar that my kitty cat does not like.
No, of
And
course
then,
not.
yeah, and we got this, what do you call it? Roadrunners. The Roadrunner keeps coming up to the house. And my
Gosh.
wife loves that, Brenda, because she's Navajo and Roadrunner means good luck.
Yeah.
Coyote's trickster. You gotta, they see him cross the road, they turn around.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
we
funny.
have all these spirits in our life. Your friends are spirits, the animals are spirits, the rocks, the trees, everything has soul. Everything is of the same energy. And so be open to that. Thank you, Alina, for
Yes, thank
pointing out
you.
all these things.
Thank you to
And
everyone
don't
out
come
there.
from a place of lack. That's huge.
Oh, big,
Desire
huge.
is a very low consciousness and
Yeah.
it attracts low consciousness.
Yes. It's need. Desire creates need, and that's what
Right.
the problem is, right? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Raphael. And live wonderfully and with ease and flow in your life.
Okay, I will remember that. Thank you, dear, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye bye.